What's going on, everybody? Today is Wednesday, October 25th, and you are listening and watching the Daily AI Show live. And if it's Wednesday, that means it's the day that we're all going to be talking about AI in the news. So our goal with this show is to chat about different topics that came up in the last 7-ish days-ish that we think are interesting. Typically, we don't know what the other cast members or co-hosts are bringing to the table. So it's always an interesting call. With us today, we got Beth, Robert, Aaron, Andy, and it looks like Carl's about to join us in a second. The only one that's out today is Jumi, but I think he will be back soon. So
somebody should June me a new computer. It sounds like he needs one.
Yeah,
we're crowdsourcing for June.
We're taking donations. Hey, Carl.
Yeah, we may have to. Yeah. What's that, Carl?
No, I said good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Oh, good evening. Sorry. Yes.
So I know we always have a couple stories that we want to bring. This is always one of my favorite shows to look forward to this, and of course, Aloha Fridays that everybody participates in. But this is a good one because I always end up learning a lot. I feel like if I am, then so is our audience. So with that, who's got the juiciest story? Who wants to dive in? Can't wait to talk about it.
Actually, I wanted to jump in because I wanted to talk to Robert about it. Hey, Robert, do you remember the last episode of the Daily AI Show? Is not sorry.
We are the Daily AI
no,
Show.
We are the Daily AI Show.
You really put it on the spot there.
This day in AI. This day in AI. This
right.
day in
with
AI.
With what's his name?
Yeah,
Matt
the two.
Wolf?
Yes.
No, you think about the other guy, the two guys from
yes. The
anyway,
Australian guys?
Yeah, Australian guys. Love them. Yeah.
There was one that I thought was really neat was the Play.ht 2.0, where they released that. And just being able to keep a conversation in real time using voice. So not only could you clone your voice, we've all known that, and being able to create videos and stuff. Now with Play.ht's upgrade, they claim to be the fastest voice cloning, I guess, process at the moment. And they were demonstrating how you can clone in real-time conversation. And if something's too long, you just add a or hum to kind of, wait for that translation or the generation to complete. It was a really neat little segment that you could do.
Well, those who don't know, these two brothers, one of them, they're trying to what do they call it? Spam their mom. So they call her mom up, posing as one of the kids. Like, hey mom, I need you to send me some money. It's like, and it's in real time. She's like, why do you need money? It's like, oh, I just need it, mom. Can you send it? And so all this is done typing, all voice cloning, and it would just, and they're constantly figuring out ways to do better. And then of course they got themselves talking to each other. Two of those things. So I think that's what he's talking about, is that particular use case. But where do you see that using other than spamming your mom? Where do you see that being used, Carl?
I just, what I know what I don't know. So I don't know how you could. It says you can generate speech in under 300 milliseconds and under 100 milliseconds for an on-premise solution. So I guess you could. Honestly, I'm not sure.
Come on, sales team. Hello, duh. You're basically going to be able to have people that these are the bots. They're trained on the corpus of data. They're so fast that they can actually. We finally done it. We've got rid of salespeople.
That's what you I never really thought, but I guess so. I guess if you have, instead of a chat bot, you can have like a legit chat bot, like a voice chat bot in real time.
Right.
And I thought I'd bring up the use cases from their website just in case, and like a lot of it is what we would think: celebrity voice, character voice generator, TikToks, YouTubes, audio, articles, and accessibility. Well, that's awesome. Anytime that we're helping people in that area. E-learning and training. I think we've talked about that a little bit in the past and how that the e-learning and training space, there's probably a lot of use cases for that, I would think. We've talked about in the past about being able to switch languages, and the CEO being able to send out messages and training and whatever's and welcome, in 7 different languages. That's pretty cool, though. I've never heard of that company before.
Right. So I don't know that translation is in this, but simultaneous translation is a really big deal, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a very, very cool use case, and not taking 1 million people's jobs, but actually expanding your company's access to people around the world.
Well, listen, I'm hoping to go to Paris next year in like late August, around the time, July, August, around the time of the Olympics. My family is. So I'm really hoping this stuff gets dialed in enough that I really don't learn French. And so I can just be a Parisian. Obviously, it's not going to be that good, but it would be. I mean, it would be fantastic if we're getting lost in the city and trying to find our way to the next.
Just get the Ray-Bans, augmented reality. Yeah. It'll have a text below what the French guy's saying. You'll be able to watch and read the text below. That's going to be happening easily very soon, and be like, where should I go? And I'd be looking. I mean, I can't wait for the Ray-Bans. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, I can't wait to go live from Paris next year. Hopefully, talking to y'all in French. So we'll see if that happens for show. Let's call it show 200. I don't know where we'll be next year at that time.
What if you're meeting someone at night though? Like, imagine if you're like at night, and then I'm like, why are you wearing your glasses? But the person's asking you in, let's say, French, and you're like, and you're waiting, and then there's a glitch, and you have to wait for that thing to translate. Then you're just standing, looking at him, like, and then you respond, and then he comes back with something, and then you're still standing there, and then they're gonna look at you like, who is this dude wearing sunglasses at night?
I mean, I'm going to take a guess that whatever is coming back and I'm waiting for is like, you're a stupid American. Like, why are you doing this?
On your screen saying, oh no, let's send the silly American in the wrong direction or something like that.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm thinking they are more friendly to like people who are just trying out language countries. Like maybe Japan would be a nice one. Or some places.
Nothing against any Parisians that we might have.
Nothing against
our show.
Yes.
Okay, clearly.
They clearly hate Americans, so it's okay.
Well, some of us.
Most of us.
All right, what's up next? Who's got the next one?
Who else has got something awesome?
I'll jump in. So I've got a couple of things that are kind of related. So number one, DID, which is an Israeli company, just announced the release of something called their Creative Reality Studio. And one of the things, actually, let me just jump on and share my screen because I know it'll take a minute, and I'll keep talking. Just bear with me a sec.
Do you want me to pull it up real quick, the DID?
Yeah, go for it. Start for that now. And while you're doing that, I'll just get mine ready. So what they've done is they've released this, and basically the thing that, exactly that. They're now using the HeyGen equivalent of what I call, or what HeyGen calls, talking photos. So you can upload a photo of yourself and then put a script, either a script with an AI voice, or you can upload an audio. So I knocked up a demo, which I'll show you in a minute. Can't say I was particularly impressed, to be honest.
Play that one.
But I think the technology will keep getting better. So let me just play that a few seconds of that for you first. Keep in mind it's got the DID logo in the background because it's just the way they've set it up. It's not a full paid version. So I don't know if you need to approve me to share screen.
Yes.
Brian? Thank you. Okay. So this is a very old photo of me when I was less grey, younger, and slimmer. So ignore that.
You want your ideal clients to feel like
hang on a minute while I get it onto the right screen. It's on the wrong screen. Right. So
trust you without any cold outreach needed. Creating a steady stream of helpful videos aligned to their questions about the service you sell is the best.
I'll be honest, I don't particularly love that. But, I could see some uses for it. But the thing
so you're our resident kind of, what do you call it? Avatar guy in our group. Yeah. So of all the ones you've tried, which one is your favorite so far?
As far as the talking photo style, I don't really like any of them. Having said that, I think that could be partly to do with how it makes my photos look, and I've seen some with other photos that look good. but I don't love any of them. As far as AI video, I still think HeyGene's the best by a long shot. So
Okay.
but the other thing that happened on, I think it was about the 18th or the 19th, was that our friends at Descript, which is my favorite video editing tool, released an upgrade to their AI voices. So previously, if you wanted to do an AI voice with Descript, you had to create like if you wanted a good one, you had to record a minimum of a 30-minute audio track, upload it. It took at least a day to edit, to process it, and then it went from there. And I still found, for me, it was really monotone. I didn't particularly like it. I think you guys have all heard samples of it in the past. This new one, you can literally create a voice clone in like a minute or two. So you record a little script they give you on screen, which takes you 30 seconds to read, and it takes about a minute to process it, and it's done. It's much better. So just have a listen to this.
Want your ideal clients to feel like they know, like, and trust you without any cold outreach needed. Creating a steady stream of helpful videos aligned to their questions.
So I don't know how easy that was for people to hear, but if you
the accent is really spot on.
Yeah,
Right.
if you just want to find my personal Facebook profile, you can see that video there. And then there was the first one I created here. So from a voice cloning perspective, a big leap forward. And I've just also got a copy. I've just signed up for 11 Labs' new Pro Voice, which is their, it's minimum $22 a month, and they claim to clone your voice perfectly. It takes 4 weeks to process the audio file. So I'm expecting it better be,
don't you think? Like why?
yeah, I would expect it better be bloody perfect. Otherwise, I'll be canceling my subscription, because what Descript does is so close to being good that I would be happy to keep using that. So yeah, from a marketing perspective, I think this is a really big advantage. You know, if someone wants to put out video, but you don't want to go on camera and you don't really like doing voiceovers, this would be a great option. So I'm currently processing, I've written like 20 scripts in Claude, and I'm currently making videos out of them that are all sort of somewhat like this. So some cool technology there, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, who's up next?
I just want to like piggyback on what Aaron was saying. In the first video, there was a little bit of an echo. That's actually not the system. And I don't know if anybody else here heard it, but that's like Aaron playing stuff in StreamYard. And the second thing is that because of Aaron's accent, if you're not actually from Australia and sound like him, in which case we all have accents, that's been part of the search, right? Because a bunch of these are built for an American accent or someone who sounds a little bit more like us.
Yeah, and it's spot on, Beth. The accent has been the issue, and even 11 Labs have admitted it right up until recently that they initially were built for US and I think UK accents, and I've not had any luck with them. So,
yeah.
So this is a big upgrade.
That Descript one is impressive. I'm with you. That's the best. You shared that with us in our internal Slack channel. I was like, ooh, that's getting good quick. So yeah, that's impressive.
But they're all so pricey. Okay.
Well, I mean, I look at Descript. It costs $30 US a month for the plan I'm on, but I do a lot of other stuff with it as well. So, you know, if I don't have to pay for extra like 11 Labs and a few other tools, then it's well and truly worth it. I got no complaints.
I got that. Okay. edX, which is an online AI course and program provider, did a research project and called Navigating the Workplace in the Age of AI. And I will share that.
That's edx.org. Is that right, Beth?
Yep. Is it?
I'm taking quite a few classes through them. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
So can I jump in for a second?
You can jump in for a second while I pull this up.
I'd like to take odds on everybody. So I'm taking odds on Apple's recently released new event coming up. They're actually going to do a second one this season. My bet is on Ajax. My bet is that this is not hardware. This is not software. This is their language model. They're putting their gauntlet down because they've been training it. They're spending $1 billion a month or something stupid like that on developing their language model, and they just announced that they're going to have an event coming up. Who wants to make bets that that's going to be their launch?
Before I
of
bet you,
Ajax?
or bet when was the? Is that the Mac event? Like on October 30th?
No, yeah, exactly that one. I know
Oh
you
yeah,
think
I'll
it's.
bet you. I'll bet you on
You
that.
think it's going to be about a Mac? You think that
I
they
do.
just did an event, like whatever, a couple weeks ago or last month?
Yeah.
And they're going to do another one just ad hoc.
I'll bet you a dinner if I ever see you or when we see you.
All right.
Because here's my reason why. Because that is the normal launch time for Macs. Like they have usually normal launch times. So I was like, this one, like yeah, this was like.
Hey, be that it may, you might be right about one, but there's going to be one more thing. There's going to be one of those. They're going to take this opportunity to drop something because they're starting to get behind.
Before we bet, to give you an out.
No, I think I already heard it. Everybody heard that.
Carl's trying to give you an out.
I don't need an out.
Wouldn't it be better if they announced it at like their developer conference with an API instead of just like it would be a weird one more thing unless they actually integrate it into something, because they're just going to be like, oh, in addition to the Mac, you get Ajax in just those Macs. I was like,
maybe their expensive VR glasses will come out with it.
And Apple is competing with itself, right? Apple does not play along. If they did, Siri would be like 1,000 times better, right?
It would be. Yes, it would be. So.
Apple is in its own like
way,
timing and moving forward.
Yeah. I got to say, I'm not an Apple user. I've never been an Apple fan, but I still think probably the best piece of marketing content I ever saw was Steve Jobs' presentation years ago when he first introduced the iPhone. Like it was, as the kids say, it was money. That presentation, it was perfect.
They teach courses about him in his in college courses about Steve Jobs and his presentation, stuff like that, and how it changed the how people did those kind of things. And now they all do it. Google has
it was required reading for my MBA. We had to read the autobiography or the biography from Walter Isaacson on Steve Jobs. So he's definitely actually referenced him today. Not to get too much on Steve Jobs, but you don't go to market. His whole thing was, we don't go to market with a product that the customers need. We go to market with the product and we tell them they need this. That was his whole thing. But yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, Beth, go for it. I know we got off track with this.
Here we go. Cool. Okay, so the most significant thing about this is the disconnect between C-suites saying that they're struggling to find talent with AI skills, that they feel like 87% of the C-suite. This is a survey of 800 C-suite and actually, I guess participants, because there's also workers.
Can you zoom in a bit on that, Beth?
Sorry?
Zoom in one more time.
Zoom in a bit with the plus button.
Okay. So 87% of the C-suite says they're struggling to find talent with AI skills, and 77% says it's disrupting their business strategy. I have been saying this for months. If you can do anything with AI and you're not a business owner necessarily, you're looking for jobs, put AI on your resume, build it into your skill set.
But look at the 82%. Everybody, now it's time to go to your boss and ask for more money.
Yep.
The 82% of C-suite believe workers who are skilled with AI should be paid more.
Yep, absolutely. And this is like the lead from the marketing AI standpoint. 47% of C-suite executives believe most or all of the CEO role should be replaced with completely automated or replaced by AI.
Does that mean they just want to get paid lots of money to stay home and party and let the AI do the job?
No,
I don't know. But then we come back down here, and this is the big difference, right? So employees don't realize how much they'll be affected. 20% of knowledge workers say that most or all of their role could be replaced by AI. So there's like a big gap here. Opportunities, right? But that's the thing that I feel like we keep seeing these yeah, I'm going to remove that. I feel like we keep seeing these indicators that that the change is coming from the top down, right? Carl has talked about this from his presentations. Other people have had that same kind of feedback, that it's not that we're going in and saying, "Hey, there's so much money you can save by like making fewer people work here," but that is a consistent question. After the presentation is over, these are what's possible. What does this mean? Can I decrease staffing costs? Right. So the big thing for this is just to know, right? There are opportunities as a worker, and to be aware of that disconnect. One of the things that I do is facilitate conversations from a large group company-wide perspective, and this is one of the reasons why. Like, it is important to know where each other are and what the possibilities are and what people are looking for.
Thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Cool. I'm going to recap the players on the dance floor and the dance cards that are emerging in the enterprise application space for AI. So in very recent days, some big partnerships have been announced by some of the major players that are out there dancing. For example, Oracle announced a new AI partnership with Microsoft. So here you've got a major player that's a competitor directly to Salesforce and others, partnering up and choosing the Microsoft. And they might have some tangential relationships with others like OpenAI, but they're announcing a major partnership with Microsoft because Microsoft's with OpenAI, so they're kind of taking that position on the dance floor. Salesforce announced a new AI partnership with Google. And Beth, you had a comment when we were just leading into this, which is
so it's not just Salesforce. Microsoft did this as well. I think all the big players are really embracing a polyamory model, right? Like, bet on be in bed with everybody, just in case.
Fair enough. Yeah. So they may not go home. They may not go home with their dance partner, is what you're saying. Okay.
Or they're going home with all their dance partners.
Yeah, it's a group. Okay. So the other one was NVIDIA announced a partnership with Lenovo. Now, NVIDIA is a major AI company. They have software in addition to their chips, right? And Lenovo is an angle of attack into the enterprise, where together as partners, they're going to supply enterprise applications and the hardware necessary to operate them. And then the last little bit is not about the dance floor, but is about Google and the anticipation of the release of Gemini sometime in the next couple. And it's coming in weeks, right? I mean, it's going to happen by the end of this year. So we really don't have that many weeks left in this year. Gemini is reputed to be able to outperform GPT-4 in measurable ways. So, this is an amazing advance from Google. And the other aspect of Google that I wanted to mention is that there was a leak that one of their tools inside that's in AI is called Stubs, and Stubs will allow you to do a low code / no code way of developing an AI application. So the very large team at Google's been building some things that might put pressure on the low code tool set out there by making it generally available through the Google ecosystem. And one final one that I'll go ahead, Carl. I'd love to get your comment.
I just wanted to respond to that one, was that I feel it's the other way around. The no code, low code ecosystem is pressuring Google, because I don't think I just from talking to the reps at Google, I feel that they have all this stuff, like they have the research and they have these capabilities, but they've never had to actually commercialize it until now where everything's moving faster, so they have no choice. But if any of the products they've released recently, it's, sorry to say, half-assed. It's not, it's mid. It's not good.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. Well,
right?
I think
So-
one of the reasons that they end up delivering half-assed products is that they don't really feel the pressure. Why? Because even in the face of ChatGPT and all of the, concern and fear that would replace ad revenue for Google, their ad revenue this year in the most recently released quarter was in excess by 9% of the prior year.
Yeah.
So they're doing fine, and they have such a major ballast in the world that they don't have to be really quick and put out bad products. They're in the sort of the iterate, launch and iterate approach, and I think they're going to come out with something incredible.
I would question those numbers, not because they're wrong, but because why are they more money? Is because they charge more, or because they're being more used? So be careful with that, because I honestly think they're standing on really shaky ground, their business model. Because obviously, as you know, because of GPT, less people are going to those sites that are more educational, right? Because they can get more. And obviously, as people start using it more, I mean, we're still in the 1%. Most people don't know ChatGPT. So
right.
But
Steve was making a comment about the weak earnings call despite the ad revenue. So supporting your statement.
Even though their ad revenue was strong. Yeah,
well,
they're making major investments right now, I'm sure, to try to, make sure that they don't get seconded by the low code world.
Promiscuity partner.
Let's be honest, Google hasn't had to try really hard for a long time. And I think they're suffering because of that mindset. So,
well, but are they, is the question.
Yeah, that's my point, is they don't feel
they're not suffering, but they're trying to protect their kingdom. So there's a difference there, right? They're recognizing the writing on the wall. There's things that are going to be happening. They're trying to SGE that we've talked about several times is going to be a game changer. And how people actually interact with the web is changing. So
this is the story we're all telling ourselves. I just want to be clear, because we're trying to explain the behavior that we're seeing. We actually don't know what's happening inside, except for little leaks like, new business doesn't have to go by ethics or legal, which again supports the story we're spinning. But I just want to be clear that we're talking as if we know and we don't.
Here's a little funny thing that happened yesterday, because I was at a Google Gen AI event, and then so there was a person on stage who was talking about responsible AI, and they're talking to an audience that is enterprise and wanting to learn. That person also sat right beside me while I was downloading Face Fusion, while I was copying and pasting certain people and creating my own deepfakes. And then I look at her, and then I look back at my screen, and she's not paying it. She's looking at something else. I was like, huh. Her entire talk on responsible AI is to protect your data, protect people. We don't want the deep fakes and all that stuff. And here I am, like, just literally creating deep fakes right beside her. And I was like, oh, this is a very interesting moment.
Hey, a major player. Oh, somebody's going to share something. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wanted to bring this up because you were talking about Google, so I thought let me just hit two of the quick topics just to keep it on the same topic of Google. But this I just read. It's interesting. I would have to dive deeper into MakerSuite and Stubs, and because these are things I'm not as familiar with. But I guess that they're saying a little bit of Gemini was or is going to be leaked because parts of Gemini are now going to be part of MakerSuite. I don't know. You would have to read this Medium article from Bedros Pambukian. Man, I probably butchered that. But anyway, that's just from a few days ago on October 15th, but probably worth a read if this is interesting to you, talking about Gemini. So that was interesting. Has a code name, Alkali, so does Gemini, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, somebody's like kind of doing the sleuthing and deep diving into this. And then staying on the Google topic, but for YouTube that they own, I found this one was really just interesting real quick, that YouTube is going out and basically asking these different, labels and saying, hey, can we have access to your artist voice, I guess. So it's like YouTube on the one side is like slapping the wrists of people who are making fake Drake songs, and then quietly on the backside, they're also like, hey, by the way, we want to make this a big part of our ability is that other people can create these songs. And so I think it's very interesting to see where this is going. And they talk down here about, they mentioned the Drake one and how, you know, artists like Grimes have totally embraced this, but then other people like John Legend and Selena Gomez are saying there needs to be more regulations and more rights on this. So this is like that ever developing story. It'll be interesting to see how this all sort of finally settles down and what you will or won't be able to do, what's considered, you know, protected in your creative whatevers. I mean, we're seeing this in images as well. So it's just kind of interesting to see. And then just last but not least, Midjourney has decided that they're finally going to have a website, but don't get too excited because that website is just searching, browsing, and viewing. So you literally can't do the thing you want to do on Midjourney yet on their website. So just go back to Discord. That's all I got.
Yeah. Although you see the bar is right there. Like it's there as a like, I don't know if they're just a showcase, but like, it's like you're supposed to be able to create plus add files. So I'm like, oh, that is coming, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a step in the right direction. I've been personally waiting for a Leonardo-esque Midjourney website for a long time. So I'd really love to see them do that because they're still the best, I think, in a lot of cases. Yeah, nonetheless. Okay, we're kind of on time and we don't really need to do TLDR, but like who didn't get a chance to kind of share their stories? You want to run through them real quick? Did everybody get through? All right. So. Any key takeaways?
Wow.
I know, right?
Well, I have one point I wanted to make quickly, which is another major player that we don't speak about very often, but has been there since the inception of AI, is IBM. And I'm just curious why they haven't come forward with something tremendous. While they already have something tremendous, which is the whole Watson architecture. But they did announce a partnership with Cal Berkeley. So they're going to be working together with some, academic researchers to develop stuff for healthcare, education, etc.
Yeah, you have to imagine all these, just because they're not in the news, though. They like the IBMs, Apple, Google, all these major players. I am sure they've got tons of focus on these areas and stuff like that. And they just, maybe they'll all hit it once. Maybe they'll come out with a brand new, was that Einstein? What was the thing that beat Jeopardy? What was that called? Watson. You were just saying. I couldn't think of what that term was. But like a new Watson or something like that. It'd be really interesting.
Steve
Amazon as well, by the way.
Comments that Watson X is what they're pushing at the moment, which is the next generation enterprise-ready AI.
Right.
Yeah. It's look, what we do know is it's going to continue to be in a very interesting next couple months. Yes, thank you, Steve. Watson X, thank you. It'll be an interesting next couple months going into the new year, and then I think first quarter there's going to be some big players showing up for sure. But that's it for today. Hopefully you guys got some value out of that, learned a couple of the new stories going around, and you can dive deeper into them if you like. We will be back tomorrow and Friday with new topics. We're going to be talking about bias. We're going to be talking about installing LLMs on your local computer and the pros and cons of things like that. So that's what we got coming up the rest of the week. Hopefully we will see you guys back then. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye.